So we are pleased that the mayor was able to, his life is demanding, let me say that, exceedingly demanding. And what I'd like to say publicly is a huge thank you for his vision and for looking forward when it comes to trying to grow a greener Philadelphia. It really does matter for those of us who are parents and grandparents, and it was the mayor's idea that we should move to make the Office of Sustainability a permanent department in government. And of course, with the support of the voters last November, we were successful in this new Department of Government being real long after Mayor Nutter has gone on to do his Act 2. So with that, let's please say thank you and welcome our mayor, Mayor Michael A. Nutter. Thank you very much.
I'm still working on Act 1, so I have no idea what Act 2 is going to be. But Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown, thank you very, very much. I apologize for being late. I was, but the Councilwoman and I think all of you will have a great appreciation for this. So I was literally just across the street at the MSB in our innovation lab. There are a group of students from the Chester Arthur School who are working on a redesign of various rooms or spaces in their school as they want them to be. So I think one is a lunchroom, one team is working on outdoor space, and the other is working on a classroom. These are 10, 11, 12-year-olds. One, let me say, they have excellent taste. They really like nice stuff, they're sparing no expense at redesigning their classroom. But their level of engagement and thoughtfulness and innovation on what they want to see, and a couple of the ideas I actually have now pressed the team to pursue. It just tells you that the future is so bright with these young people. And if we would just give them the support they truly need and deserve, they will astound us with the things that they would be able to do if we as adults would do right by them and just do the right thing. And that is, it's just so reassuring each and every day with them. So, but again, I apologize for being late. For all of the folks up and down, almost all of whom I know, congratulations to all of you, and to the Councilwoman who is always looking to promote people, young people, and certainly women here in our city. And I'll have some thoughts and remarks about that particular issue in a second. Councilwoman Maria Quinones-Sanchez is here with us, certainly a very strong woman in her own right. She apparently scares the hell out of some men here in the city, but that's just a whole nother story. We won't go into that. Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. Rue Landau, great leader of Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations, Judge Renee Caldwell-Hughes at the American Red Cross. It's great to be with you in a happy non-disaster occasion. It really just feels good. I almost feel like I need to make some announcement about, it's right. I think we might get a quarter of an inch of rain today. So, just run home, get your milk, bread, and milk, because of course we live in the French toast capital of the United States of America, which is what everyone does. Clarina Tolson, of course, a longtime friend, incredible public servant, and all of you who are here this afternoon. The winners of this year's Moxie Award. I love that. Honored to be here today to reaffirm our commitment to fairness and equality for every citizen of this great city of Philadelphia. Today, I have the opportunity to sign a City Council ordinance which will place on the May 19th ballot, primary election ballot, a question for voters to answer. And I'm going to say some other things about voting later. But the question is, shall the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter be amended to provide for the creation of a commission for women to be charged with promoting civic, educational, and economic policies for women and providing advice and recommendations to the mayor and city council on policies and programs that advance equal rights and opportunities for women in the city? The answer, the only answer, is yes. It's the only answer to that question, and that's what I expect the answer to be when folks go to the polls on Election Day. Councilman Curtis Jones was here earlier. I want to recognize him, and certainly the great leader at DC 47, Fred Wright. Thank you for being here. Sharman, thank you for being here. And to, as the commercial goes on TV, to the few brave men who are here in the room with us today, I say thank you very, very much. With this group, I need as much help and support as possible. No, seriously, we're very, very pleased that there are a number of men who are with us today. Now, we have established a number of boards and commissions to advocate for a variety of groups in our city government. The Commission on African American Males, the Commission on People with Disabilities, the LGBT Advisory Board, the Youth Commission, just to name a few. The Commission on Women will serve an equally important capacity. Today, there are more women in the American workforce than at any other time in the nation's history. Nearly half of the workforce, 47%, is women. Nationwide, 4 in 10 households with children under the age of 18 include mothers who are either the sole or primary earner. But unfortunately, across the country, women still earn about 77 cents to every dollar earned by men, and there are a whole host of other issues that women confront on a daily basis as they strive for equal treatment in the workplace, in school, and in society. Our administration has taken a number of steps to try to level the playing field for women in our city. Last September, I signed legislation regarding sex discrimination in the workplace, which required employers with 1 or more employees that they must accommodate the need of an individual to express or pump breast milk in the workplace in a sanitary, private, non-bathroom space. The city also adopted a new parental leave policy, one of the most progressive municipal family leave policies in the country, and a pregnancy accommodation ordinance last year. And just today, the city's Board of Pensions voted to join the 30% Coalition, a group of national women's organizations, institutional investors, business executives, and others who are committed to the goal of women holding at least 30% of the seats on boards of directors among public companies by the end of this year. That was an action by the Board of Pensions today. I strongly support all of these efforts. If, in fact, and they will, but if women are to effect change, they need to have a seat at the table. They need to be in the room when various decisions are being made that can affect them or their children or their families. Taken together, all of these initiatives help to improve the livelihood of women and, in many, many instances, children in our city. And yet, there's always more that can be done. Philadelphia, unfortunately, struggles as the poorest large city in the United States of America, and women are often most entrenched in generational poverty. Nearly 1 in 4 adults live at or below the poverty line, and families headed by single women are 3 times more likely to live in poverty themselves. A commission for women would provide guidance about how we as a city can address structural inequalities that leave women, and in many instances, again, therefore their families, at a socioeconomic disadvantage that continues to threaten our city's potential prosperity. I welcome wholeheartedly this change to our Home Rule Charter. I look forward to working with Councilwoman Reynolds Brown and other members of City Council, and of course the select members for this commission, should the voters approve it, which again, I fully expect. And with that, and I'll come back after I sign, but my notes tell me that Councilwoman Reynolds Brown is next to speak. Yeah.
a few words I'd like to add. I think it's so incredibly important that we always remain mindful that we didn't just start here, that there's so many women who paved the way for us. And as I was reflecting on my remarks, it behooves me to acknowledge even Gail Hawkins Bush, one of the first co-chairs of the first Mayor's Commission for Women. Thank you, Gail, for joining us. And then I'm reminded of women like C. Dolores Tucker. Yes. Ernesta Ballard. Remember Ernesta Ballard? Honorable Augusta A. Clark. Firebrand Edwina Baker. Ona Weldon, remember Ona? And Happy Fernandez, women whose shoulders we are standing on. It's really, really important. And you should know that every year since 1987, Congress has designated the entire month of March to celebrate the contributions and accomplishments of women, and I'm still of the view that we can never do enough. You can look at the hearings now, United States Senate confirmation hearings with the consideration of the Attorney General, and how, as I learned recently, the hearings for her are 3 times more longer than all of the former Attorney Generals. Really? In 2015? The facts are as follows, as we've already heard mentioned by the mayor. Depending upon what document you read, some say 75 cents to $1. Others say 77 cents to $1. When I came to City Council 14 years ago, it was 77 cents to $1. The bottom line is that that number has only grown by 2 cents. And for women of color, it's less than that. And for women of Latina culture, it's less than that. So if we continue at that pace, my 18-year-old daughter will be 75 years old before we see a dollar-to-dollar equity when it comes to women making as much as men. We have work to do. Despite, as the mayor said, representing 52% of the city's population, women only occupy 11% of corporate boards, but bravo to the work and the action that was taken today. It's long overdue. So we get a chance every month to lift up and celebrate women. The new Mayor's Commission for Women will be chaired by an executive director appointed by the mayor with 27 members. 10 of those members will be appointed by the mayor and 1 appointed by each member of the Philadelphia City Council. And of course, they will be charged with promoting civic, educational, and economic policies and opportunities for women across the city. Now, the good news is that we're now presuming the voters hear the goodness and the rightness and the timing of this measure. We will join 31 other major cities who already have a Mayor's Commission for Women. Cities like New York and Boston and Phoenix, Denver, Atlanta, Seattle is always ahead of us with a lot of public policy. San Francisco, Alexandria, and more. And they're going to look at issues like human trafficking, which is still real. Philadelphia is one of the top 10 cities on the FBI list for human trafficking. Domestic violence, pay equity, and discrimination. In closing, as a world-class city where liberty and justice for all was born, Philadelphia should not only have a commission for women, we should have the flagship commission for women and be considered a national thought leader on the topic of gender equity. Thank you so much for stepping away from your offices to help us and to witness the mayor now signing this into law, wherein we will get a chance to change the paradigm for young women and the trajectory of our girls. Thank you very much.
So if I can ask all of our Moxie Award winners, maybe you can, I don't know what the table was used for earlier, but if you could maybe just put your flowers up and your awards and come over with me, and the same for folks over here. And then I'm going to... This is Bill number 140230, providing for the submission to the qualified electors of the City of Philadelphia of a proposal set forth in a resolution approved by Council proposing an amendment of the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter relating to the creation, appointment, powers, and duties of a Commission for Women, and authorizing the appropriate officers to publish notice and make arrangements for the special election. Section 2, there shall be placed on the ballot the following question to be answered yes or no by the qualified electors participating in the election. Shall the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter be amended to provide for the creation of a Commission for Women to be charged with promoting civic, educational, and economic policies for women and providing advice and recommendations to the Mayor and City Council on policies and programs that advance equal rights and opportunities for women in the city? Let me just say on a very personal level, one, gives me great pleasure to sign this today, but I signed this on behalf of Edith Vargas, my grandmother, Catalina Vargas, my mother, Renee Messina, my sister, Lisa Nutter, my wife, and for the future, Olivia Nutter, here in the city of Philadelphia. It is so ordered. The question will be on the ballot on May 19th. Thank you. Hey, Councilwoman. So just a couple closing comments. First, those are certainly all of the women that have helped to mold and shape me into the person that I am. Although you should not hold anything against them for any of my behavior over the years. They could only do so much. While my hope is, of course, certainly that folks come out and vote yes on that question, and there are some other ballot questions. The Councilwoman will refresh my recollection. She's also so we have this question. I think there are two others.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Right.
Question around the issue of immigration.
Right. I think that's a yes. And what's the other?
Universal pre-K.
Right. The one that Councilwoman Blackwell did. So first and foremost, and we signed that. I signed that one. I think about a week, 10 days ago. There are 3 ballot questions, and we want to certainly encourage a yes vote on all of them. But in order to be able to vote yes on those questions, you actually have to come to the polls on Election Day. And the fact of the matter is I am increasingly concerned as to just how much people are paying attention to the fact that there is an election on May 19th. There are less than 60 days before the polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8. And we need to make sure that people are really paying attention. And I've been talking about this for some time, and folks have been talking about the Voting Rights Act and the 50th year and the movie Selma and all these kinds of things. Well, you know, it's not enough to just talk about how great those events were and what people did and then not go vote. Right? Folks walked 54 miles from Selma to Montgomery, 54 miles. And you know the story. You know the beating that took place on that Sunday. You know the turnaround Tuesday. And you know that they came back later and walked 54 miles so that all of us would have the right to vote in the first place. No more tests, no more taxes, no other interference. We did have that big fight about voter ID, which was crazy, but we got past that. Now we need folks to walk 5 minutes from their house. 5 minutes from your house in the course of a 13-hour day to do something for yourself. Because that's what voting is really all about. It's actually doing something for yourself. Because in this world, or at least in this country, you are not alive until a government official signs your birth certificate. And you are not dead until a government official signs your death certificate. And everything in between. Every 6 months, there is an election for something, for somebody who will be in a position of authority that will, in one way, shape, or form, affect your life or your children's lives. I don't think we've ever had an election where someone didn't win. Who that someone is actually matters, because they will make decisions that will have far-reaching and daily impacts on your life. And so if you don't vote, you, one, lost the right to have anything to say or to complain about. But more importantly, when you don't vote, things happen that you may not like or may be opposed to. And you gave away what others fought for, suffered for, died for, to give you for free. You don't have the right not to use that right as an American. And certainly for those of us of whatever hue God gave us as we look at each other, we don't have the right to give that up and ignore the impact and the power of the vote. Everyone is equal, at least on Election Day. Even in this city, you still pretty much only get one vote per person. Pretty much. And when you walk in that polling place, the power of your vote is equal to anyone else who shows up at their polling place, because you had the opportunity to either push a button, pull a lever, whatever your voting thing is if you're outside the city of Philadelphia. And so someone's going to win. And then those someones will make a series of decisions about funding education, about supporting the Commission on Women, about supporting the police department, about working with our public employees and our municipal unions, economic development, public safety, integrity in government. All of those issues will be affected and decided by someone who wins an election at the local level, at the state level, and the federal level. And it is just an absolute disgrace that people decide to throw away that which was fought for so long to make this a more perfect union. Take someone to the polls on Election Day. Make sure they vote. Make sure they participate. That is the essence of citizenship in the United States of America. Thank you.
No, we have not, Mr. Mayor. If we could lean on you for that. And there were a number of witnesses who came to testify on this measure. We want you also to join us here and take a picture with the mayor. Please. Thank you.